Hi there, I'm Dr. Chung and welcome to your friendly proctologist. Thank you so much for spending your time here so you can learn something about your bottom end. We're going to do the video many of you have been waiting for, which is my formula to treating anal spasms, and this also can go for proctalgia fugax or spasm of the pelvic floor deep in your pelvis. Many times both of these can also be having issues at the same time. We're going to go through 3 major chapters of my treatment, and all of that is in this video. But before we get there, I want to mention Pranicura again. And Pranicura has been a great sponsor to this channel. When I first met them, yes, I was skeptical. I'm skeptical of all these people that have products. I get about 30 emails a month from people that want to work with me and want my name to be associated. But you know what? I don't want to feed you guys garbage. And you can see from this supply, I'll show you here, hopefully you can see that I actually use mine. When I had my latest flare, and you'll see in my video, yes, I was using this about 3 times a day, and that's not a lie. There's a great menthol sensation which helps me soothe my bottom end, and you know, with hemorrhoid flares, your muscles want to freak out and squeeze, and that coolness is what I truly appreciate about this cream, as well as just the soothing nature. I don't get that greasy feel, but there is nice passage of skin between each other, so there is good lubrication, but without that wet, weird feel that some of the other creams can give you. We're going to go through a little bit more on this cream later, but I highly recommend that you try the 30-day Pranicura challenge to see if this cream will help you. I bring this cream to you as an opportunity to try something that you haven't tried before, especially if you've tried a lot of things on Amazon, in the pharmacy, your friends' recommendations, and they haven't helped. So definitely check out their product. www.pranicura.com is the only place you can find it. www.pranicura.com. Okay, so anal spasm. If you haven't seen the background videos on what it is, how you might know if you have it, check those out. They'll be in the description box below. The 3 categories, 3 chapters. Number 1, soft poop, soft stools. Number 2, relaxation or pain relief when you're having the pain. Number 3, rehabilitation. With these 3, I find that this is a very well-rounded recipe, and many of my patients have been cured from the problem. So I really hope that you guys will take the time and look through this video and see how your life can be changed by making your life less painful. Soft poop. Why is that important? These muscles, your anus and your pelvic floor above, are interrelated. They are connected to each other. They work with each other so that your poop can come out. If it is a hard poop, if it is a diarrhea poop, your muscles, which are moving this product and this poop that is passing by them, is going to get irritated, and they're going to get pissed off at you when you have to strain, when you have to push, when it stretches these muscles, when it rubs against these muscles. They do not appreciate it. You can understand that, right? So if we have this soft stool, then they can slide by. It won't stretch as much. You don't have to strain as hard. You can have better toileting habits, and therefore less irritation of the muscle, less spasm, less inflammation. You understand what I'm saying. So how do we achieve that? There are many ways. There are the natural ways. I don't think that fiber is all bad, but finding the right amount of fiber can be helpful for many people. Water drinking, those are the other natural ways, the dietary aspect of it. Other medications like stool softeners, laxatives, the safe ones though, not the ones that will destroy your colon over time. So pure 100% Colace tablets, Miralax. Those are the 2 I generally recommend to my patients if the fiber, water, stuff like that doesn't fit into your normal routine. And again, routine is the key word, because if you don't do this every day and you have a hard poop here and there, you're gonna have setbacks. This is not going to work well for you. You're gonna be frustrated, and you're gonna have to start back at square one, okay? So take the time. This is not an emergency, although the pain is bad, but you want to make it work for the long run, okay? If you just get 2 days of great days and you get the third day, which becomes a huge explosion of pain, not worth it. It's not working. Just please trust me on this. What about chapter number 2? It is relaxation and pain relief, physical and mental, okay? The spasm, in that word, that definition, spasm means tightening of the muscles, but it's not just like contract a little bit. Spasm means unbelievable contraction. Have you ever had a Charlie horse? Someone bangs you on the edge of your thigh, your leg just freaks out, or you did a lot of running or hiking and all of a sudden your calf just turns into a rock and just contracts super hard and you're just like, oh my God. It's like begging to be put down, it's just, and you're just paralyzed. You can't do anything with it. That's what's happening with your anus, okay? Pretty much the same thing. But what's the difference here? Your anus, the internal anal muscle in your pelvic floor, your levator muscles are under unconscious control. You cannot have good connection to them. You're not born that way. We don't really know if it's contracted or relaxed. And you don't have good conscious control. You can't just say just at a whim, contract. And they're probably going to be super spasmed and then say relax. They're not going to do that because you don't even know if they are relaxed. But with your leg or your arm, you can just say, hey, arm, stop moving, relax. And it happens, right? And it's a very, very direct relationship. You can see it happening, you can feel it happening, but in your butt, very, very difficult. Deep in your pelvis, even more difficult. You'll have a difficult time trying to find those muscles because believe me, even in my training, a doctor had to train me to look for these muscles. And because I do surgery in these areas of the body, I have a very intimate knowledge of where these muscles are. But the average person, it's easily very misunderstood. So, the physical relaxation here with that, we got to relax the spasm. We don't want it to keep freaking out, right? So the cycle that I want to introduce you is one with the spasm and the pain. They just keep feeding into each other. It's a positive feedback loop, right? When one gets excited, the other one also gets excited, which also feeds the back in, and round we go. So for example, if you have the bowel movement, you have pain there. The pain causes the muscles to spasm. Why? The defense mechanism is telling the muscles, hey, we don't like that. Shut down the floor. Shut down the door. And that spasm is a very, very intense contraction. But when you squeeze those muscles, what happens? The pain goes up. And the very frequent or very common problem that you get these spasms from is anal fissures. So the muscles squeeze on that cut, on that fissure, and then the pain goes up. But when the pain goes up, the spasm happens again, and the spasm happens, the pain, and you see it goes just revving right up like a race car, like a drag strip car with the tires just blowing up, and it's about to burst. And the one thing that is tough about that is it's very difficult to break that cycle. Once that starts getting revved up, it just seems to quickly go into outer space. So in my opinion, the way to break this is to try and knock out the two components. So how do you knock out the pain? Well, pain medication can be very helpful, right? So ibuprofen or Advil, make sure you check with your doctor as to how much or whether this is safe for you, but it's a muscle issue, so ibuprofen for many people can be very helpful. What's another pain medication? You can try Tylenol, but I'll tell you, not many people feel much relief from it. But again, check with your doctor. I also prescribe pain medications. And you must be like, Dr. Chung, are you kidding me? Do you give prescription strength medications for that? Isn't that illegal? Isn't that bad for your patients? And I understand the concern. The news media has really been focused on fentanyl, on narcotics abuse, morphine, all these kind of things. But these pain medications work, and we've got to use them for the right reasons. When you misuse, abuse medications, yes, that's when things cannot go well. So it's important that you talk to your doctor, and if your doctor gives these to you, you want to use them only when the pain is super bad, where you are just completely paralyzed, incapacitated by the pain. Okay, and that's where you're gonna probably have side effects from the pain medications as well. But if you weren't taking it, you would have been just laying in bed crying because the pain is so bad anyway, right? You weren't gonna be going to play basketball anyways. And so these are really just helping to deal in an emergency, really bad situation. I also, excuse me, I got a little off topic there, but pain medications can be very helpful for people, because if you don't help people, what are they going to do? Suffer in the pain. What about the other side, the anal spasms? Well, the one thing I try there is muscle relaxers. Again, the muscles are tightened up, and because we don't have good control, we want to use medications to medically, pharmacologically break these muscles tension up. The only thing with muscle relaxers, it doesn't seem to work with everyone. And yeah, they have pretty heavy side effects. They can make you loopy, dizzy, and just make you kind of feel awful. Again, these medications are supposed to be used when you're having a really bad episode. Now, that's for the physical. Oh, another one, sitz baths are really great too. Sitting and relaxing in a tub can get those spasms to settle out, especially after a bowel movement. What's another one with relaxation is doing it manually, okay? I've seen a lot of comments, people asking, can I use my finger, doc, and put it in my bottom end? I definitely feel that tightness in there. Yeah, you can. Of course you can. It's your own body. People do it there just to explore for fun even. So why can't you do it for this? Of course. But the cautions I'll tell you, it may be painful. Okay, the muscles are very, very sore, so go slow. Use plenty of lubrication, and you don't want to push things. If it starts to really, really hurt you, don't just force it and just say, oh, it's gonna be good for me. Those muscles will be crying out afterwards, okay, because they've been messed with and they don't like that. So go slow. Use if your finger's too big, like mine might be too big for some people, use a very small toy, maybe even a balloon, but be careful, don't get it stuck up in there, please. Make sure it's a safe toy, something, or a medical device that you can actually hold on to. Please don't let that happen to you, okay? Just a word of caution. And it's not to be funny, it actually happens a lot, okay? The other thing I'll say is don't massage or put your finger when you're having the flare, okay? That is when your muscles are super irritated, and that's not really a great way to relax them, because you're kind of stretching them against their will. They're closing down because they're afraid. You want to leave them alone, and you'll be better off that way. So do the stretching or the massaging or the dilations with your finger when you're feeling better. All right, what about mental relaxation? And I think this is just as equally important as the physical. Why? Because the pain stresses us out. It makes us anxious. It makes us sad. Makes us depressed. And when we get into these modes of mindsets, the thoughts in our head tend to go down into the dark depths of our soul and our mind, okay? And that tends to also make our pain seem bigger. Okay, it's been well proven in patients with depression that someone who has a tummy ache, people with depressions will perceive and actually tell the person interviewing them, that their pain scale is much higher on average than someone who is not depressed. And this is a pure mental thing. The physical symptoms are real, but they get transferred up to the brain. The brain takes that information from nerves like, oh, we're hurting, combines it with the emotional, and then you get the end product where it mixes with it. And because you're upset, because you're stressed, because you're not getting much sleep, whatever's happening, and the pain seems to be much, much bigger than it actually really is. And so we want to coach ourselves and be positive, be realistic, but understand that this is temporary. We're gonna get better. We're gonna start working on it. When you gotta go poop, try and do the deep breathing. Understand that you're going to immediately, even before you realize it, you're going to get afraid. You're gonna get tensed up. Your muscles are gonna start acting up. So if you breathe deeply and prep your mind, which will prep your body in order to relax and open up and have less irritation, inflammation, and you get the idea here. That's enough of chapter 2, much longer than chapter 1, but let's go to chapter 3, rehabilitation. And this is a concept where we want to increase the strength, the power of the muscle again, to increase or decrease that pain threshold, right? Or increase that threshold so it's much more resistant to injury, get it stronger. And then the other side of it is knowing and teaching it how to relax and do things on command, okay? This is rehabilitation. Many people think of, I got a broken leg, I've got to rehabilitate, I got to get stronger, I got to be able to stand, got to be able to jump off a building so that, that's after I break my hip. Well, that's only half of the equation when it comes to anal spasm or pelvic floor spasm, okay? If you don't know how to relax these muscles, you won't get the full thing effect where you have to open up your muscles. So for example, like I was saying, if you broke your knee, okay, what do physical therapists do? Physical therapists will help you to strengthen it by doing exercise, but they also massage the muscles. They will also encourage you to relax the muscles, stretch out that muscle. And so you're doing rehabilitation there. It's a full training program. With the anus and the pelvic floor, there are specialized physical therapists. You probably already found them on YouTube. They're kind of all over the place, and some of them are quite good, okay? And what these people are pelvic floor physical therapists. They do special training and they know all about these muscles and how to get them functional again. I highly recommend you see one right away. Okay, it's very important for you to be on a training program. Why? Because you have to learn how to connect your brain to these muscles, understand if they're off or on, and then you need to know if you're doing the exercises right, whether you're relaxing or not. And that's what these physical therapists will do. They will literally put their finger in your bottom end, assess your muscles, and see what you're doing. They can tell you, okay, go ahead and relax. But if you're not doing, they'll tell you, and that's where the brain connection is feeding back and you're getting that connection made, okay? And so you don't need to see them 5 times a week. You can see them maybe once every 2 weeks. That's plenty of work for you to work on every single day. And the great part about long-term follow-up, long-term training program is they can tell you, are you getting better or not? This is something you need to work on. This is something you need less of. And they can do massages when you're there, much more thorough than you ever could. And they'll tell you if you're doing the exercises right. And because it's such a long-term process of developing the nerves, it's much more beneficial to keep getting that training even over the course of a year, just seeing them once every month even if you feel like you've got a lot to work on, okay? But number one, definitely find a physical therapist or a physio as some people may call them to help you. And in a nutshell, that is my recipe for anal spasms, levator floor spasms, pelvic floor, all those names included. And that in a nutshell is what it is. And I will tell you, this is a very, very slow process, okay? And it may take 6 months. It may take a year. But if you see that things are gradually improving over time, that is a huge, huge win. How slow am I talking? I advise my patients to write down 2 numbers in like a calendar every day. One number is how bad was the pain from 1 to 10. The other number, how many hours that day you had the pain. If you look back 2 weeks and you see one of those numbers has improved by 0.5, one of the numbers by 0.5, that means you're doing excellent. Okay, that means you're doing phenomenal. Okay, and you may think, Dr. Chung, that's stupid crazy. Okay, how can that be a huge improvement? And I'll tell you, try it. It's way harder than you think to improve that much, because again, the connections, everything needs to work together. Your routine needs to be put together. All these things. It's like you're trying to move continents together. I'm not trying to make this a daunting, impossible task, but I'm saying don't underestimate it. It's a lifestyle change, and it is something you have to commit to for a long time so that you can start getting rid of it. And believe me, I have patients that have followed this and have been cured of it. Many of them, actually. And so give this a shot. Also, give Pranicura a try, will you? I mean, if you haven't fallen into marketing from other garbage products that are out there that are trying to just sell you something and make money off of you, that is not Pranicura. Pranicura has helped a ton of people. Just look at the reviews, look at the comments, and I challenge you, take that 30-day challenge and see if Pranicura will help you. Many people are so surprised when this actually has made a huge difference for them, okay? And so I wish you the best. I wish you well. And I hope that you'll take this video and break it down so that you can be better, little bit at a time, right? Little wins. We gotta take that progress and accept it as a blessing, right? Well, take care. Bye-bye.